This is a quick tutorial on how to change your basic bodice into a princess line top. So Sam from Instagram asked me for my opinion how to draft the dart into princess line like this, and I really like the look of this top, so here's a quick tutorial on it. So it's the same block as your basic block, but instead of your normal shoulder and armhole, you've got like a sort of raglan American armhole, and then you've got a stand at the top. And the stand at the top is either cut on bias, or it might be stand collar. I've got a tutorial on how to do a stand collar on YouTube. I put a link for you below. But either way, that's quite easy. And then it's got this lovely princess line coming roughly a third up from the armhole, and then they curve in and out, and then you got this pointy little waist, and then the back is straight and it's got a center back seam, and it's more or less identical. The bit which is a bit more complicated is getting that line beautiful. So I'm going to concentrate on that and how to get your pointy waist done and your armhole quickly. So I've traced on my basic bodice front as usual and marked all the important bits. And the first thing I want to do is actually move this dart out of the way. So I've got this space all to work on. So I'm going to move my base dart into the bust dart. And I'm moving both darts because it's a really fitted start. So I'm going to cut along and glue it together. So it's cut apart. So all I do now is glue my base dart together. So I don't want anything in the way where my line is going to be. So that's now got lots of space to work on. I'm now quickly gonna just extend the waist as well. So just gonna stick a piece of paper at the bottom. So that's my waist extended, so I can show you later how to draw my pointy waistline. But first of all, I want to draw in my neckline. This is a really high neckline already, so that will stay the same. And when you draft on either your bias strip or your stand collar, and you want it to be really fitted, so rather than going with this measurement, you might actually want to measure around your neck with maybe 3 centimeters of ease, and then go from there. And the top hits the neckline roughly 2/3 up. And then it goes in a diagonal line down to my armhole. And I think the bottom curve is exactly how it is. And then it will just go straight and it goes into that curve. And this looks quite a wider angle in a drawing, so you might actually have to move it up. I would make a trowel of how you think it should like, or even on a bodice block trowel. Draw where you want the line to hit your neckline, and then you go from there. But this is sort of a guessed estimate. Now I've done that. With a pencil, I'm just quickly going to draw in my princess line. And if you on the drawing, it looks like it's roughly 2/3 in away from the neck. So it's roughly 1/3 and then 2/3. So that's where your notch is. And that's where your body turns towards its side, which is where the sleeve goes underneath the arm. So that's quite a good way to start, because we hit exactly that point where your arm joins your body. And it goes through my buster, and I'm just quickly sketching it in pencil. And I'm going to draw it in a proper pen in a second. So that's quite straightforward, the curved line. And then it sort of goes slightly out again. So you get that beautiful hourglass figure. But what's important is we've got a pointy waist, which looks roughly like this. It might be a bit more pointed. It's up to your style, really. So if it looks like this, the point, I think it would be really nice if your seam hits that line either at a 90 degree, which would make it really a quick drawing. If you have this as your top, it's quite sort of 90s Balenciaga. If it's like this, you can either, I think it's quite nice to go out like that. So you really accentuate your hourglass and you hit your waistline at a 90 degrees. And I think with stuff like that, first of all, 90 degrees is lovely for sewing. So that's always a plus. And it just looks neat because we think of 90 degrees is really neat. So if you either go for 90 degrees or you go for something just 100 degrees or 120 degrees, you don't go 93 degrees because that's just going to look wonky. So you can see I've drawn in my line from my armhole down to my waist at 90 degrees, and it's just slightly over halfway. So I think once it's actually made up, it's going to be a third, 2/3, 1/3. So it's quite flattering. So really accentuates your body shape. And of course, I've made this quite short just because I've got a big space to work on. But you might want to have it longer. In this case, it might stay straight longer and then curve out. So if you, for example, if you have it this long, down to here, you would stay straight and then curve out to hit your bottom of your top at 90 degrees. But the principle stays the same, and the important bit is that you get that sort of in and out and that you hit at 90 degrees, however long you make it, stays the same. So this is all finished. I'll be ready to cut it out in a second. The last thing I want to do is put in my notches. And I'm going to put one notch here and one notch here. And then there's a sort of, a lot of people put the third notch on the bust point. But if I do that, I can tell you what happens. I end up with it looking like this because I sew to the notch, you get a kink. But you want your top to look like this, your princess seam. So what I've been doing for the last few years is that I put a notch either side of the curve. So I know it's a really controlled distance I have to match, but I'm not sewing to a point and therefore ending up with a little sort of pointy bust point, which is awful. This is the top finished. I'm not going to cut it apart and just show you the last step before you can do your back and put it all together. So this is where your basic bodice becomes a lovely princess line halter neck top. So you take your shoulder bit away and then you move your bits apart and you've got your princess line top ready to make your first trowel. And we do the back exactly the same and you're all ready to stitch it together. So this is the princess line top for Sam. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and if there's anything else you'd like to know dart related or pattern cutting related, please just drop me a comment. Thank you very much for watching.